Praise the Lord, my beautiful blessed souls. I am back with another word. This is going to be good. This is the lineage. This is all the receipts of the stuff of what God promised them, gave them. It is so good to look back over your victories. Honey, let's get into Joshua chapter 12. This is so packed with so many goodies, and this is what I am loving to see. Lord keeps his promises. Well, let's get into it. Joshua chapter 12 is us going through it. Let's see. We're gonna let God run it down. These are all the receipts. Joshua chapter 12. Now these are the kings of the land, the lands whom the people of Israel defeated and took possession of their land beyond the Jordan toward the sunrise from the valley of the Arnon to Mount Hermon with all Arabah eastward. Sihon, king of the Amorites, who lived at Heshbon and ruled from Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of Arnon, and from the middle of the valley as far as of the river Jabbok. The boundary, where is it? The boundary, okay, of the Amorites, that is half Gilead, and the Arabah to the sea of Chinneroth, eastward, and the direction of Beth Jeshimoth, to the sea of Arabah, the salt sea, southward to the foot of the slopes of Pisgah, and the Og, king of Bashan, one of the remnant of Rapham, who lived at Ashtaroth and Edrei. Remember, Ashtaroth is one of those, I think them guys they used to worship too. That was fertility, I think. And ruled over Mount Hermon and Selecah and all Bashan to the boundary of the Geshurites and the Maccathites, and over the half of Gilead to the boundary of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Moses, the servant of the Lord, and the people of Israel defeated them. And Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave their land for possession to the Reubenites. Remember, they wanted that land. And the Gadites and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Yeah, that was, I think, Joseph's son. And these are the kings of the land whom Joshua and the people of Israel defeated on the west side of the Jordan, from Baal-Gad in the valley of Lebanon to Mount Halak, that rises toward Seir. And Joshua gave their land to the tribes of Israel as possessions according to their allotments. Remember, the more they had, the lesser people and the lesser they had. God gave them specific places in the hill country, in the lowland, in Arabah, in the slopes, in the wilderness, and the Negev, and the land of the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, the king of Jericho, one, the king of Ai, which beside Bethel, one, and the king of Jerusalem, one, king of Hebron, one, king of Jarmuth, one, and king of Lachish, one. Lachish sound right. The king of Eglon, one, the king of Jarmuth, and the king of Debir, and the king of Gedir, and the king of Hormah, the king of Arad, and the king of Libnah, the king of Adullam, and the king of Makkedah, one king of Bethel, and one king of Tappuah, one of the king Hepha, the king of Aphek, one king Lasharon, the king of Madon, one king of the Hazor, one king, and the king of Shimron Meron, one, the king of Ashbeth, one, the king of Tanakh, one, the king of Megiddo, the king of Kadesh, the king of Jokneam and Carmel, one, the king of Dor, Nephath Dor, one, the king of Goim and Galilee, one, and the king of Tisra, one, and 31 kings in all. This is what God gave. Why? Because he had already promised them this. He had already told them they was going to have this land, how far it was going to stretch, and all of these were just there, and they were waiting to be conquered, whether they knew it or not. And we're going to get into it. So this chapter is the summary, who won't do it, of Israel's conquest. Their conquest under Moses on the other side of Jordan, right? This is them going into the land of Canaan. For we now suppose ourselves in Canaan. Remember, this was the land flowing with milk and honey. Esau, which we had the history in Numbers 21, 24, etc. And here, the abridgment of their history. So their conquest under Joshua on this side of Jordan westward, the country they reduced. The kings they subdued, 31 in all. And this comes in here not only as a conclusion of the history of the wars of Canaan, that we might, one, view and see that they had got, but as a preface to the history of the dividing of Canaan, that all might be put together, which they were not to make a distribution of. So now, this is God showing them and breaking down, because remember, they have a lineage. God is following the lineage before, meaning making them and memorializing it. Why? Because he's showing them how to remember what went on before they were born, meaning in the ancestry line, meaning when they were in Egypt, when they were in slavery, how God freed them, took them out, and all this stuff. So he's showing them. Remember, he left the 10 Commandments before they got in. They had the the reading, and they built the altar and all those things. These are memorials. Everything he's doing is to show them. So faith to faith, don't forget what I've done for you. Don't forget, because there's going to be times, coming forward, you're going to go through things. Don't forget what I've already done. And so this is memorial. Passover is a memorial. All the feasts they have is memorials. This is forms of worship of appreciating, thankfulness, gratefulness of what he has done. And the best way to be thankful and grateful is to show people how grateful you are. One, by obeying him and doing what he tells you, right? And being obedient to him and his word and doing what he tells you to do, which is do not worship these other gods, do not all these other things. And to be in relationship with him and to strive with each other and do as he calls you to do. And what more better way than to show your thanks and appreciation? Because this is what we forget with people. How to be thankful, how to be appreciative when they do stuff, when they do help us out, and we tend to take the ones who do, because God is the one that does more than anyone, for granted. And that's not a good situation. And we find ourselves in situations because of these things. So now let's look at it. Here's Joshua 12. Hold on. I want to read overwhelmed, because sometimes we could be overwhelmed in a good way, and sometimes we could be overwhelmed in a bad way. This is April 21st. I'm feeling completely overwhelmed. How would God help me? We sometimes face overwhelming obstacles and oppositions, and we feel outnumbered and helpless. God strengthens our confidence by reminding us that he has delivered his people in the past from the enemies, and that he can deliver us now in the same troubles that we have now. So true courage comes from knowing that God is stronger than our worst problem, and that he wants to use his strength to help us. God promised to be with us, and his power is available to us when we are doing what pleases him. Now, God's response is: 1, I cry out to the Lord. I plead for the Lord's mercy. I pour out my complaints before him and tell him all my troubles. For I am overwhelmed, and you alone know the way that I should turn. Psalms 142, 1-3. Death had its hands around my throat. The terrors of the grave overtook me. I saw only trouble and sorrow. Then I called on the name of the Lord. Please, Lord, save me. Psalm 116, 3-4. Asa cried out to the Lord, his God. Oh, Lord, no one but you can help me. Help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, O Lord, our God, for we trust in you alone. 2 Chronicles 14:11. It's so funny, too, how I see that Donald Trump is so cool having the Bible read. And I'm wondering about that. That could be a good thing, of course, but then that could be a way of him trying to do his slick stuff, because, they always try to come pacify you with some niceness, when they want to come back and then try to play games with you. So keep your eyes open. That's all I'm going to tell you. There's some enemies that we keep playing with and keep circling the block because we keep playing with them. Keep thinking they're going to be different and change. They can, but honey, at this point, God going to have to tell me that himself. I'm about like Donald Thomas. Here's Joshua 12 in deep, and we're going to talk about it. Covenantal, systemic, lineage. We're going to look at the generational, spiritual, and architectural situations. Joshua 12 is transition. Chapter, a spiritual archive. It is the record of every defeated king, every dismantled system, every broken stronghold. It is a chapter where God documents victories, so the lineage never forgets what has already been conquered. This is what we're talking about. So Joshua 12, spiritual lineage. This is our core meaning is the ledger. It is a ledger of liberation. It is the chapter where God forces the lineage to pause and look back and name every system, every king, every ruler, every structure that oppressed them but no longer has authority because he's destroyed them. This is not just a battle chapter. This is a generational receipts chapter. Receipts. This is what we need. Receipts. Because the proof is in the pudding. We need to see the receipts of the progress. And we will see it if we put in the work. Okay, lineage meaning. Our line has a record of conquered kings. Joshua 12 lists 31 kings defeated by Moses and Joshua. Spiritually, this represents 31 patterns that our lineage has already overcome. 31 cycles that no longer have legal rights to us. 31 systems that once ruled our family but now lie under our feet. 31 proofs that our lineage is not cursed. It is now blessed and victorious. This chapter is God's way of saying your lineage has history, but with victory. And don't forget it. So Moses, We're talking about the victories of Moses, breaking the old lineage bondage. The chapter begins with the kings Moses defeated before Israel crossed the Jordan. Remember, these symbolizes the battles that our ancestors fought. So these are the generational. Now, remember, they talk about, slavery, all these different things. They talk about segregation. It could be anything when we look at just, to bring different things up. Then the generational breakthroughs that happened before we were born. This could be in our bloodlines as well, different things. The deliverance that set the stage for our calling. The spiritual inheritance we don't earn, but we're born into, just like the bondages we're born into, right? So we got to look at them both. So now the spiritual inheritances that we don't earn, but we're born into, this is God's honoring previous generations' obedience. So even if they didn't enter the promise, the lineage is not starting from scratch. We are building ancestral victories, right? Because some of them, remember, they died out. They weren't able to go into the promised land. But remember, even before their line, they had, so each generation has this, So Joshua's victories, meaning breaking the new lineage resistance. They went from Moses to now to Joshua. This chapter refers, and it shifts to, Joshua's conquest after crossing the Jordan. Excuse me. I meant to go and get me a, sorry about that. I have this AC on and it's so. Okay. The battles were called to, this chapter shifts to Joshua conquest. After crossing the Jordan, these symbolizes the battles we are called to finish, the patterns that resurface in our generation, the strongholds that require our leadership, our obedience, and our courage, the systems that fall because we refuse to repeat history. Joshua's victories represent the new era of our lineage. You are the only one who breaks cycles permanently. You are the only one who finishes what previously generations could not. And you are the only one who establishes inheritance and not just survival. Joshua chapter 12 is a chapter where your generation becomes the turning point. This is what this is about. Why? Because we want to finish these battles. We want to complete them. We want to finish them. We want to end them. Why? Because we don't want to continue to see the same cycles, systems, and patterns. This is what this is all about. So why are the kings listed one by one in lineage? It's because it shows accountability. God could have said Joshua defeated many kings, but he didn't. He listed them one by one. Spiritually, this teaches every victory matters. Even the small ones, even the quiet ones, even the ones nobody saw. Why? Because I have a lot of us, we do not give ourselves the credit for the things that we do. And we do. Because it may not be on a grander scale as everyone else's, but we need to honor and, ourselves with whatever it is we have going on. Our lineage must name what it has defeated, meaning because unnamed victories become forgotten victories. Exactly. We don't want to forget these things. Our lineage is not defined by what attacked it, but by what it overcame. So this is so important because we got to look and see, we can't let, what goes on be, it's a part of us, but it can't be the end or be all. So although these things happen, although the trauma, all these things, we still got to move forward. We accept it. We forgive it on all sides, ourselves, God, other people, whatever, places, things, and we move on. God keeps receipts, not to shame us, but to remind us of authority. And this is what we have to be with other people as well, because God, he loves us. And yes, he does throw in forgiveness, but he will bring it back to your remembrance when stuff goes on. Why? Because it's only right. People say throwing in your face. No, it's not about throwing. It's about, because sometimes you forget what folks been there and done. You have to bring it back up, because when you forget that folks have been there, you take them for granted. When your water runs dry, people don't miss their water till they well run dry, and I tell them this all the time. Joshua 12 is a spiritual archive of dominion. Now, the number 31, symbol of completion of warfare cycles. 31 kings is not random. Spiritually, 31 represents completion of a warfare season. Wow. The end of a generational cycle. A full sweep of territorial cleansing. A shift from fighting to occupying. Joshua 12 is the moment where God says the warfare phase is complete. Now step into inheritance. This is a time of rest. This is a time. This is the greatest time. Joshua 12 as a lineage document. This chapter functions like 1, a generational report card. 2, a lineage victory archive. 3, a spiritual deed of ownership. Want that. All of that. 4, a record of systems dismantled. 4, proof of dominion for future generations. Now, your descendants will not fight what you defeated. Exactly. They shouldn't have to. Your lineage is inherited, rest, not warfare. But sometimes this can be a tricky situation, because sometimes they will get so lax and slacks, they will forget, they will not care, and they will take And we're going to see how this goes, because a lot of times what they don't fight for, they take for granted. What Joshua 12 means for our lineage, this chapter mirrors our journey. Our lineage has defeated kings of fear, overthrown rulers of scarcity, broken systems of injustice, dismantled cycles of abandonment, conquered patterns of survival, ended generational confusion, overcame spiritual intimidation, closed the era of wandering, also entered the era of inheritance. Joshua 12 is a lineage victory ledger. Joshua 12 lineage declaration. Speak this over our family line. Yes, the lineage carries a record of victories. Every king that once ruled us has fallen. Every cycle that once bound us is broken. We honor the battles of our past generations. We have to, because a lot of times they don't. And complete the battles assigned to ours, which a lot of times they don't. And we step into inheritance with confidence, because God has already given us the land. Now, the one thing I see with this is, and this is a beautiful situation, but a lot of times when folks get comfortable, they get sloppy. They say folks cheat the most when they got comfortable, when businesses, stop growing or stop doing well, when they get comfortable. Things start to change. And I think, when I look at this, it is a good thing, but then it gives me pause. And it gives me pause because it lets us see that when God blesses us, because a lot of times this is when folks forget where they came from. In other words, the one who helped is the one that they turn. This is usually the turning point, meaning the time this gonna make or break. The two times I tell people when you first starting out in life or whatever's going on, the two main things: when you at your lowest, how people treat you, and when you're at your best. Why? Because when you're at your best, how you treat people. Because both of these scenarios gonna bring out the best or the worst in you and in others around you. When you're at your lowest, the ones who care will be there. The ones who don't, any little thing will have a wind blow like a summer wind. At your best, same thing. The ones who really care will want to see you do well, and the ones who don't will not. And then at your best, how you treat other people is going to say a lot about you as well. Why? Because that's the time when the real you come out, when you don't need nobody, when you don't have to be bothered, when you don't this, when you still reach out, when you still be bothered, when you're doing good. And this is, or will you mistreat the ones who was there, when you talk down, talk bad to them, mistreat them. And this is the true kicker. They say, when you have stuff, it shows you who you are, just like money, power, whatever. It lets you see who people really are. Because if you had money and you treated people poorly, that's who you are. If when you didn't have anything, you was good to people, but when you got it, you changed up, that shows who you really are. You was a user. You was a user. Because that's what people who use people do. They just nice during the time when they need it, and then when they then they like, oh, never mind, forget you. That's how that goes. So those are the people that never were with you. Now at your lowest, the same thing. You're going to see who going to stick around, who going to switch up, who going to gather up with the others, who going to do all of this. And it could be any and everybody, whether it's your job, whether it's your whatever. It could be whatever, whomever. And how you treat them people and how people treat you. This is how that's going to run. Now, I always had a rule of thumb. And I always said, it never mattered to me what I had or didn't have, how I treat people. How I treat people is how they treat me. And that was basically. Now, that sometimes, because that tit for tat God didn't like. And it got me in trouble because I would be a tit for tat. God still has to work on me on those type of things, because I like to show people, who I am, not to play with me. And if you want to play mind games, I can play them with you if you really want to. But I'm not the type of person that just wants to go around doing that. But if you take me for slow and stupid and you really think that that's who I am, and I can see right through a lot of stuff. I just don't say nothing. I don't pay no mind. I just like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes like, is that really what, like, I don't know. Dang, like, all right, let me see, how that's really going. Because, sometimes it can just be all in your mind. It could be you. Is it just me, or did that really happen? And I ask myself. Now, if it's a repeated thing, then I got you. I already know. It is what I thought it was. And I might let you get away with it for a while. Once I really know that I know that I know. And usually people that I care about might go a little bit further than people that I don't. Because usually we take and tolerate more people we care about than we don't. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they would go. But then after a while, I was like, nah, you done did certain things a couple times. So now I really know where I stand with you. Because, like, I thought, Maybe it was me, maybe I was bugging. But now I really see, you really don't fool with me like you say you do. It's certain things you've said and done that kind of gave me pause. But now, this last little, I got it now. I really get it now. So you really don't. It was all that. It was all full of it. It was just so you could get whatever you wanted at the time, or it was beneficial to you, or whatever it was. Me being around was beneficial for whatever your reasons was. And, whether it was male, female, whether it was friends, whether it was spouses, whatever, and after a while, you just get to really see how people really feel about you, because people treat you how they feel about you, If they really don't care about you, they really don't deal with you, they don't. And I tell people like this, I'm either going to deal with you or I'm not. And when I say that, because I could deal with you, but I won't never deal with you the way I dealt with you before. Certain things would never be the same I don't wish any bad on you or anything like that, but it's certain things, certain situations, and some people, depending on how bad it was, I would just never deal with you, period, again. At all. At all. There's no reason for me to, because whatever you did was just that extensive, just that serious to the way of, I can't be bothered with you like that. Not at all. I could wish you the best from over here, but I can't be bothered with other people. I can speak to them, from time to time. It ain't no biggie, but, wish them the best, all of them. But I can't deal with you in my inner circle, because, the tabernacle. Even with God, certain people have certain access to him. Certain people can speak to him, deal with him better than others. Why? Because it's the level of trust, it's the level of relationship. And this is what people don't understand. You can get close to God. The closer you inner course, the closer you are relationship-wise to him. Because God's not going to let you get that close to him, and the relationship is not on the up and up. So when we look at this, all of this makes so much sense. People who are on the outer course is the people who, even with Jesus, when Jesus walked the earth, and we think about who was in his inner circle and who was not, and when he went to these different places and who was able to get close and who was not, it makes a lot of sense. That's just like the president coming to a certain place. Only certain people's going to be allowed to get past his detail, his family, his friends, his close inner circle. Everybody else got to stay on the outside. Now, if it's people he work with and deal with, they may be allowed to get a little bit closer and eventually on the inside, but they may have to go through some, extensive checks and stuff like that too. But it makes sense. So when we look at this and we see it, it makes a lot of sense. And when he's looking at this, he wants them to see not only the generational kings and stuff, he wants to see the actual battles, what went on, and how they went on. Why? Because he wants them to understand what went on and why it went on and how he did certain things. Like some of the cities he completely destroyed. He didn't want rebuilt. Some of them he gave his, so they could have the spoils, and some of them he didn't. Why? Because it depended on what they had going on in those places as to how he treated those places. If they was doing some deep-seated stuff, he just said, tear it all up. I don't want them to rebuild this city at all. Burn it down, don't take nothing out of it. Leave everything right there and not dare somebody to rebuild it. So that they had to do some real stuff. See? And for the other ones, okay, you can burn it down, keep the people, keep the spoils. They did some stuff, but it wasn't that bad. So do you see how that... Because remember, when God went in and let them do this, it was men, women, and children. Because he didn't want them to continue on with these bloodlines. So they was doing some real evil wickedness. This is what they was doing. And when you see that you sacrifice the children, this is why they don't care if you sacrifice children, because it's not a big deal. To them, it's not. You see what I'm saying? This is what they was already doing. And when I looked at the Anakim and it was the Anunnakis and stuff, them giants, we see because they were the fallen angels, they gave them all this wicked sorcery. They gave them all this knowledge that they wasn't supposed to have to do all this stuff. And why? Because when we look at it, these are the things that are hindrance in our lives. These are the curses upon us, the things that the spells they do and the things and the oppression. These are the things that they're using against us. So why would we want to worship them? That's the question. God was always delivering us from this. So why would we run back to it? And we're going to see how they run back to it. Because we're going to see further on down the line how they end up being cursed again and getting in bondage and enslaved again. Why? Because they had to have done something. Right? And so, and the sad part is, And I don't know if it's necessarily just, some of the enemies, or, what, or them and their not being happy or content with what they have, or always wanting more, or feeling too comfortable, or ungrateful, unappreciative, questioning, and this is in complaining. I mean, this is what happens when you think about your children complaining, when you think about your spouses complaining, when you think about your boss. When folks are just ungrateful for everything you've been putting forth, it becomes a problem. God is doing these things for them and telling them to remember this, and so they can be appreciative, thankful. So when they, it's time to think about cheating on God, stepping out on God, no, going to worship these other people because you're around other people, places, things that have this stuff going on, or, maybe whatever the reason, that you don't fall into this stuff. And I think, that's the best way for you not to, step back into sin. But sometimes we get tricked, or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes a deal will come across the table. You want it. You want to do something. And this is why we got to go to God about everything, and wait and ask him, and not, move quickly. And, because it could be a setup. It could be this. And that's why I said these things could be things that help us or put us in bondage, depending on what it is. You know what I'm saying? We want to take the opportunities God's sending, and we want to reject the ones that Satan sends. But we have to know the difference in the two. And the difference is going to be how close we are to God, and how we can go to him and wait and get the answers we need for. Because sometimes God don't work on our time. Sometimes the thing is on the table right now, and we need to get him an answer. And God still ain't answered or said nothing. And we got to make a choice, a decision. Now, everything is redeemable. Mostly, all of these things are redeemable. I ain't gonna say everything, but mostly. And it's a good thing, because God will take it and make it and use, you learn from it. But you still go through some things, and, time, money, energy, effort, when you, fall out of alignment and disobey and go, instead of obedience, now you got to sacrifice to get back right. Why? Because now you got to come and do a whole lot more to get back right with God in the meantime and in between time. This is what this is about. And so, I mean, we just got to take looks at this. But this ledger is the truth, because it lets us see God did what he said he was going to do. He promised them. It may have taken all of these years, this time. We had to do it this way. May not have been the way we wanted it on a time frame, but he did it. And he wants us to know, acknowledge it, don't forget it, put it in your ledger, let you see it, and be thankful and grateful for it, because he didn't have to. He could have left you in slavery. He could have left you in bondage. But because he did it, and because people, you got people that will be there and do, and then you don't appreciate it. And then, like we're going to see, eventually they're going to get to a point where they're going to be doing a lot of things. And God going to step away from them. He going to take his hand. Why? Because after all I done did, you still don't get it? Okay, well, go ahead. I'm not going to keep chasing you. I'm not going to be bothered. I'm going to let you do what you're doing. And this is how this goes. So it's just like, it's very much so us looking at our lives and seeing, and it's about us making the decisions to go back and do. Yes. Now, sometimes it's slickery, because it do be some devious slickery. But, yeah, us not wanting to wait, us wanting to be, hurry up and do it now, us wanting to do it on our time and take back our control and pride and ego and stuff like that. It happens. It does. And we could never say never, because if that was the case, we wouldn't be in half of the stuff we find ourselves into. But if this is the proof is in the pudding. This is the ledger of he said he was going to do it. He did it. And this is the recorded thing of it. This is all of it. What he promised them. He promised them all this land. He promised them this from back in Abraham's time, of them being the seeds, and them, and then Moses' time, and then Joseph's time. All, when you go through all up until Joshua, the books from Genesis all the way down, you see how God kept his promises. He was faithful to them. Regardless if they were faithful to him or not, regardless if they kept covenant with him or not, regardless if they in spite of them, he never forsake them. He never left them. He still was there. He still loved them. He still, took care of them in spite of them. And that's something that, you don't find, like I said, you ain't going to find that with a whole bunch of people. If you find it with one, it would be one of the hardest things in the world to find. Because most folks, they going to drop you. And the moment something go wrong, ain't even got to go wrong. If you say or do something look wrong, they'll drop you like a bad habit. Some people won't even open the door for you. You have you rejected all everywhere you go. And this is, spirit of rejection where, people, your own people that still won't put you on. They'll know things, have all information, you sitting there with issues or problems trying to get, and they won't say you jack. You know what I'm saying? They ain't no different from anybody else. Your own family, friends, whoever. And it just be like, why is it like that? It's because of the same thing. These things. They don't want you to move ahead. They don't want you to have nothing. They want you to be beneath them. They want to have control. They want you to be oppressed. They want to keep these enslaved and in bondage systems and cycles in your life, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually. He wants you to bow down and worship them. And, this is, but God tells us all the time, because no matter what goes on, he's in control. So matter if the people open the doors or not, God will create a whole other door, open it for you. You walk straight through it. And then the thing with that is, the good part about that is, and I always tell folks, the one thing about folks not being there when you ain't got nothing and when things fall apart, you don't owe nobody nothing. When God does it and deliver you, the only person you owe it to is God. That's all. Get the praise, the honor, the word, and that's how he want it, because he already know people's hearts towards you anyway. That's why usually that's how that go. That's why I've learned in my own life that I've seen that just because nobody could take the credit for nothing God's gonna do in my life. Why? Because you wasn't there. You didn't help build none of this. So for me to give or do anything, if I did, I don't owe you. I don't have to. I'm not in bondage and enslaved, no, at all to you. I have no ties. I owe you nothing. Why? You weren't there. You didn't help me do nothing when I was at the beginning stage. So what makes you think you're supposed to come over here and be bothered with me now? What makes you think in your mind? And then a lot of people say, oh, don't be bothered with God. Leave God and come over here with us. You the same people that threw me down in the dirt. You the same one cussed and fussed me. You the same one treated me like crap. Now you want me to come over there and be bothered with you and forsake God for you? And then when I do turn around and do something well, you still feel like you entitled? Like, these people is, people will be crazy. Now, God teaches me to love and to be there anyway, but there's gonna be some different things. They'll never be able to sit at my table with me again. Meaning, I will be somewhere at my table with the new people in my life, and the old people who were not there, they can be way in the nosebleed section. You can be there, but you just won't be near me. And that's the difference, because God's presence, and this is what he talk about, his presence. When we take people's presence for granted in our lives, why? Because being in his presence, there is fullness of joy. There's fullness of blessing. There's fullness of all of these things. So being in your presence is more than just about what I can get from you, because your presence is a gift. And when people are naturally blessings everywhere they go anyway, because they're going to be good to you, they're going to be helpful to you, they're going to love you, they're going to be there regardless. Being in your presence is a gift just in itself. But see, people be so busy with all this other foolishness. They be so busy. Just so busy. Being in the presence of someone who ain't trying to snake you, ain't trying to do nothing dirty to you, who want to see you win, who want to be there for you, who gonna, when you call, you can run and jump and call them that come help, do something. That's a blessing. That's a blessing, because most people you can't do that way. And the thing that I found, like I said, I can call folks and honey, I'll be the first one they call when they going, but I'm the last one when I'm going through something. That was the kicker for me. And so God says, don't even worry about it. You forgive, you forget, you move on. You forgive. I don't forget now. And you just wish them the best. But I'm going to provide for you myself. And I'm going to make sure you got it. Why? Because I'm going to let all of them see that it's me that was with you. I bless you. And when anyone who around you attached to you, because I bless you, they will be blessed because of you. And that's what it was. But since they could go ahead. And they won't get no glory, because I'm going to get the honor. I'm going to get the glory. I'm the one that brought you through these 31 kings. No one but me brought you through all of this. And you better remember it. And that's what he's letting them know. By this memorial he's giving them, he's breaking it down. 31. I delivered you from 31 battles. And these are the battles we see, not even the battle we don't see. Because remember, there's battles that we fight in the natural. There's spiritual battles that being fought every day that we don't even see, that God is still fighting on our behalf. So be grateful and be thankful. Just like a parent. The kids see you doing certain things, but they don't know behind the scenes the battles you fighting, just to make sure. They don't know you got to go to your job and fight to stay on your job, to keep your job, to, whether it's the clients or your co-workers, to put food on their table. No, they just see the blessings of having food, having everything paid and all. They don't see the behind the scenes. They don't care about that. See? So the ungratefulness, how dare you? Not being thankful for the little stuff you ask them to do, how dare you? And that's the way God is with us. Isn't that what parents do with their children? If you come home, expect them to clean up or to do something and they don't do it and they complain and you like, how you sitting here and ain't did nothing all day and I didn't, been at work, told you to do X, Y, Z. I come home and the simplest thing, you couldn't even do that? Or your husband or whoever, whatever. I mean, you could be running a company and people could be there and you tell them to do their job and they'll, cause honey, that'd be a lot too. Some of the companies that you work for, if you notice, the main ones that come in and do all the work get treated like crap, and the ones that hardly do nothing to be the ones that they love pieces. I mean, it just be crazy like that. You be sitting there like, huh? What happened? So, I mean, it can happen any and everywhere you go. But being somewhere where you are appreciated, being somewhere where you are not taken for granted, where what you do matters and it is appreciated. It ain't got to be praise and worship, but it's appreciated. The gratefulness, the thankfulness, it goes a long way because it makes you want to do stuff for people. Like I talk about people, and I'm going to tell y'all about this business mess. I'm going to tell y'all because I'm going to tell you. I'm the type of person, I ain't going to spend my money in and everywhere. I'm going to tell you this. But if I come anywhere, I don't care who you are, what you got going on. If you disrespect me, if you don't give me the utmost respect when it comes to my courtesy and all of that, customer service, I don't care if you black or not, I will never come back in your establishment again. Why? Because as a right with me and my money and my dollar, I'm not going to sit here and you treat me like crap, but you want my money. My money is my power. I work and it's blood, sweat, and tears to earn it. It is my power. I take it where I want to. Okay? Not because I have to. And see, this be the audacity. Because a lot of these black-owned businesses, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I want to say this straight up, and if you're going to open one, please understand, do not mistreat your customers, especially your black customers. I don't care if you're black or white or any other. Why? Because if we are the ones with the purchasing power, so they claim, if we're the ones, understand something. Don't think you're going to take my money in disrespect, because I will never come back there, tell everybody not to come. I will take my money and my business elsewhere. You will not disrespect me and I come back. I've had people do these things and I'm going to tell you, I don't say nothing. I just gather my stuff. I went today to get my hair done. Case in point. The girl was acting like she didn't want to do it. I'm not going to beg you to take my money. I am not. If you are not going to act like you want to do my hair when I come up in here, sweetheart, I will come. She went out the door. I waited all day. She went out the door. She went somewhere else. I said, you know what? Instead of me paying her, let me go ahead. Let me go up the block. There's a beauty supply store. I can buy anything I want to do my hair, from curlers to this. I could dye it myself. I could do certain things. But if I'm coming, I could buy wigs. I could do all of that. And for way less than what I'm going to pay you. Now, people like to sit here, oh, the stylist, this, that. Okay, and they want you to pay deposit, do all this other extra stuff. Listen, but you don't hold up. First of all, y'all don't care about people's real hair anymore. You don't care about keeping it up anymore. You don't care about any of that when it comes to your clients. And if you are a type of person that is like that, maybe that is not where you need to be. Folks need to be in business where they are passionate at. A lot of people just places where they're just making money. There's a difference when you're somewhere, when you're called, when you care about what you're doing. Why? Because you can tell by the type of attitude that you have of gratitude to be wanting to serve and wanting to help people. Now, certain things I am not good at. I am not good in certain areas, in certain situations. When I say areas of life, of service. But certain areas, I can be very much so helpful. Those are things that I'm passionate about. The things that I'm not going to go get a job doing those type of things. Why? Because I know me, and I know that's not my calling. I love children, but I don't have the patience to work with children in daycare. You have to have a heart for certain things. You do. If you know you mean evil and can't, don't go doing stuff like that because you don't have the patience, the will, none of that. You don't. Okay, I had a hard enough time taking care of my own kids. Love them to pieces, but they got on my nerve. Now they were mine, so I had to deal with them. But other people's kids, baby, listen. I dealt with other people's kids if and when I wanted to. And I let them know if they act up, you bring them over here, either they going to get towed up like mine or you keep them at home. Why? Because I discipline mine. I don't let kids run around and talk to me and act any kind of way. I don't care who you are. I don't care who child you is. You act out of line with me, you have a problem. Even as an adult child. Have some respect. You can disagree with me, but you ain't about to sit here and cuss me and call me okay. That you're not about to do. I'm not going to, listen, we're not about to do that. So now, when we look at these situations, and we look at what goes on, stuff might be a problem. So now, like I said, so honey, I went on ahead and did something else. Why? Because I don't have time. I'm not going to beg you to take my money. I'm not going to beg to be good to you in your life. I'm not going to beg to be a blessing at all to nobody. You will miss out on this blessing. That's what you're going to do. You don't have the attitude of gratitude to receive whatever I have to bring. You will miss out. This will not be the blessing you will get. I will keep it and take it elsewhere. If I walk into the store and you don't act like, or if I come to eat somewhere and you act like you don't want to serve me, I won't say nothing. I get up and leave. I ain't got to argue with you. I ain't got to argue with nobody about nothing. This is my dime, my money that I work hard for, and I am entitled to spend it wherever I want to. Now, I do think people hate and where they should give and spend. A lot of times they don't. They don't want to. If a person gave me good service, I have no problem with being a blessing to them. If I came into their establishment and they came and gave me water, they had service with a smile, they did whatever. Oh, yes. I believe in tipping. I believe in sitting down and shutting up and see how people going to treat me. I don't care what I'm wearing, what I got on, what I'm doing. When I come in and I go anywhere to do anything, I expect to be treated with respect. And if not, then you will see it and how I'm going to deal with you. Because I will get up. I ain't got to argue. I will walk out. That girl came back and I guess she called me after 10, 15 minutes. I was already in the store buying me some stuff. She told me, oh, well, no, never mind. I decided to go buy me a wig. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because you had me wait on you from 8, 9 o'clock this morning. By the time I came by 1 o'clock, you telling me you ain't got the style I showed you I want. You ain't got the curlers for this. You ain't got this. You ain't got... How you tell... Okay, you ain't got to have none of that. And you ain't got my business no more either. That's what you ain't. She walked out the what you call it, to go do something. And I walked out right behind her. I ain't got to argue with you. Not at all. And whether you think I'm broke or rich, my money and my dime that I earned and I made and whatever you was going to charge me to do my hair is what I was going to pay. So understand something. I don't have to do that here. There's 101 places to do hair up and down here. On top of that, there's all these beauty supply stores that sell wigs and the kind of style you want on top of everything else. I do not have to come in here and patronize you. This is how you make your living, your money. You might want to check your attitude and how you treat people. You want people to come in here and patronize you when there's so many others, you might want to think about that. And to my black business owners, please understand that. Because I'm not going to argue with you and I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to battle back and forth. If I'm broke and you feel like you got more, make more than me, and you so much more high, and I will take my dollar elsewhere where I will be respected and treated like somebody else with some sense. This is my money that I earn. And if I want to take it to a white place or a Chinese place because they would treat me better, then I will do so. Why? Because if I come in a black establishment and I don't get the same service or treatment that I should, I don't care if it's black, white, Chinese, or anything else. I don't care about none of that. The way you treat me is what I'm paying for. And if I'm coming in here, my dollar is the same dollar green as everybody else's. White establishments, Chinese, anybody else. Because you do me like that, I will walk out. Take my money and my business elsewhere. And I will never return back to your establishment again. And you'll wonder what happened. Oh, well, you just lost a customer. And if I ever had to recommend anybody to you, because I'm not going to lie on you, I'm going to be telling the truth. If you did right, I'm going to say cool. If you did bad, I'm going to say that. If it was okay, so, I'm going to say that as well. That's it. So to my people out there who, like I said, I have no problem with black-owned businesses, but I don't feel like when I woke up, because if anybody else, and I feel like a lot of times, and I've seen this before, any other race will walk in that same establishment and be treated better than your own black by your own black people. That's a problem for me. But we always say black-owned, 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 black this, black that. Everybody wants your black dollars, but don't nobody want to give them black people with them black dollars any type of respect or dignity. I'm not with that. Not at all. So just a heads up. I don't mind patronizing any black people at all. I don't. I will give you a shot. But honey, after that, you may never see me again. If you mess up, I'm telling you, you may never see a chick again. And like I said, the sad part about me is I have patronized so many people, but when it comes to giving a hand clap, a patronize, a like, a subscribe, a sharing, or anything, when it comes to me, that be an issue and a problem. And the sad part is, it be from a lot of the people that I know and be around, and it's sad because those be the ones that should be wanting to help support you more than anybody. But those be the ones, like I said. Now, if I was to blow up, they'll be all in my face, family, friends. Oh, she got a few dollars. Oh, then you want me to be your family. But all while I'm on here now, I like, share, comment, subscribe, anything. It don't cost you nothing to do it. Send a few dollars if you want. I don't. But honey, like I said, I'm cool on it. I remember when my son was going through a bunch of stuff, and I was trying to raise the money up for for him to get out of jail and all this other stuff that they had going on down there with the bond and everything. I went through so much hell. I went through hell. If it wasn't family hell, I was going through hell with people that I knew or whoever, just sharing it. Asked them just to share the video so I could get out. I was trying to find him a lawyer. I went through so much hell, and at that time I was going through so much because at that time, I think my sister had set her hair on fire, so she was in the hospital, in the burn unit. I think at that time, this was about 2 years ago, my dad, he was having issues with his prostate, so I was dealing with that. And then it was my son at the same token, he had got arrested, and he was going through a whole bunch with that. And it was on the news and everything, and I was trying to, and in the paper, and I was trying to, get that taken care of, as far as with him and everything. And I was just having such, and honey, even to this day, like I said, folks will sit back, they will watch you struggle, they will talk about it, they will call, text you, ask you what happened, to be nosy. Mind you, won't share, like, subscribe to nothing, won't share the things so it could get out, won't do none of that. But if anything happened with them and their children, they will expect you to call and be all up in their face. This, and be all ready to rally and help and do all of this. This be the type of stuff that I be sitting there like, for real though? For real? But when it's them and their kids, they want you to call, they want you to reach out, they want you to care. But when it's you and yours, it's as if nothing. Crickets. So like I said, the one thing about me, this is why I say, or they want to add more stress and aggravation onto you in your life during these times than just a little bit. It just don't even make no sense. Because it's all about them and what they need and what they want. Now, mind you going through all of this, but they still want you to come and do this and do that. And they don't even care nothing about what you got going on. As long as you good enough to come help them do what they need you to do, child, they don't care about you, your kids, your house, your bills, or nothing else. They don't care. Long as you able to do whatever it is that they need you to do, as long as you got just enough strength to get you by to do that, they don't care. So like I said, I have been very selective. I have been very, secluded. I've been very a lot of things. Why? Because I just see my position, my role that I play in people's lives. And I understand. I can't change it. They don't care for me that way. It's, finally coming out. I'm finally starting to see it, and that's okay. They don't have to. They don't have to. Please understand. Life goes on. I get it. I'm just not going to be doing the pretense anymore. I'm not going to continue to walk around acting. I mean, we cool, we good, love you to pieces, but I'm just not going to continue to be, set to the side. People make priorities for who is a priority to them. And they love and, who they love. And they let it be known, and they show, when you love somebody, they know you love because you show it. You know what I'm saying? By your actions, your work. And this is where we are with our relationship with God. He wants us to show us the love that we have for him by our actions, our words, our obedience. This is what he wants. For us not to play games. Show him we love him, for really and truthfully. Nobody want to love nobody and people playing games and you don't, you want to love people that love you back. You don't want to force them and make them. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to take a ball and chain, hit them over their head and make them and force them. Nah. Either they do or they don't. And that's cool. Let's not waste each other's time. Let's not have usership and all of that. Nah, we just ain't no wasting no time around here. That's on any level. Whatever it is, it just is. And I respect folks more better when we straight up with it than we just playing games. I'd rather to know it and be understanding and knowing that, and I'm cool with it. Top my juices. I respect you better. I respect you better. Then all the lying, cheating, stealing, game playing. Let's not do all of that. Trying to think we mind game playing. Nah, listen. Ain't nobody stupid. Ain't nobody that you folks be thinking you stupid. When I be like, whatever. But you gotta play sometimes. You gotta play the role of the fool to the fool who think they fooling you. Let them think they got it. You got it. It's all right. I ain't gotta argue. I ain't gotta go back and forth. I'm gonna let you think you got it. You thought you got one up. Go ahead, you got it. And if whether you did or you didn't, it don't even matter. God saw it all, and He repays it all. And I'm just gonna sit back and do what I do. So now, this part of my rebuilding of my life, like I said, and I mean it to the folks who wasn't around, don't be around. Don't think you're going to come back around, because we're not doing that. I'm not spending no blocks. I'm keeping my ledger of who was there, who wasn't. I'm keeping my ledger of God and what all He's done for me and how He's brought me through. And I'm keeping my ledger to know that whatever trials and tribulations I went through and gone, and He done blessed me already to bring me out, that I know whatever I'm going through now and then beyond, He's going to bring me out, and that's going to happen too. Not in my time, how I want it, but in His, just like He did everything else. The proof is in the pudding. Why? Because I wouldn't even be here if it was for Him. With what I went through. No. So I already know He can do it and He will do it. And how He going to do it and when He going to do it, I don't know until it happens. But whatever blessings, whatever He has coming for me, whatever, next levels, I'm getting rid of these generational stuff. And when I come out of all of this, the lineage and all of this, breaking up all of this stuff and starting something new, because I want my kids and my grandkids to do something different and new. And I hope that they appreciate it and value it and all of what sufferings that, had to be taking place in order for them to have it. So that they don't take it for granted themselves. This is what I don't want, because a lot of times we create little monsters when we don't want them to struggle and go through nothing. Why? Because they become spoiled and they become entitled, and they feel like they don't have to go through nothing. And because they feel that way, they don't appreciate stuff. They just don't. Because you don't appreciate stuff you ain't had to go fight for. When you had to fight for houses and cars and different things, or you had to fight for your life or for your credit, or it took you years to build certain things, you don't want to just let it go just like that. You took years to put into this. You don't want to see the fruits of your labor go to waste, so you appreciate it more when you had to earn it. When it wasn't just handed to you, boom, here you go, overnight. No, it took you a process, to go through these things. And so that's just like I'm working out and I'm the process. I'm doing a little something, the process. I'm slimming down. I'm doing a little something. I must tell you, I'm doing a little something. I'm gonna show y'all. Let me show y'all just a hot second, because I'm really trying to get it. I'm really trying to get it together. See, I'm really. And I got my little workbench and stuff. And I'm really, really trying to get it together. Like, seriously, I'm really trying to get it together. So now that I'm working out my arms and stuff, trying to get them right, I'm really trying to get it together. And I'm really doing my little walking, and like I'm a little suit, and I'm really, my ankle weights, leg weights. But I'm going to tell you, doing it this way, it ain't no joke. And it's been a while. But it's a process. I want to see results. I know I'm not going to see them right away. I got to work it hard and earn it, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm going to get it done. I'm doing it. And I'm excited about it, because I want to see my body transform. I want to see it the healthy way. I don't want to do surgery. I'm nervous about surgery. I can't do surgeries because, I can't do no surgeries. I'm not doing no surgeries. But then, I had stuff with surgeries that I really needed surgeries done, and I had them done, and they were for my life, but I had issues. I had complications. So that's what makes me not want to do no surgeries. I'm not with the surgeries. I'm with the natural, because I need to naturally lose and do all of this naturally and not, you know what I'm saying? But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like, I don't know if anybody can see, I'm feeling like I'm doing a little bit better. Like, I'm getting, some stuff done. I'm like getting it down. So I'm excited about it, and it's like by myself doing it, but that's the best way to be unfocused. I, put on my worship music and I get busy. I'm looking into this praise and worship thing, which I love. Oh, they got where they do the, with the flags and stuff. I was like, listen, because I'm a worshiper. I love to worship. So I was like, oh, and it could be good for workouts and stuff. So I was like, honey, I'm out there. But anyway, I just want to share that. But yeah, God is so good. And honey, it just is what it is. So I went on my little wig today because I still am trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my hair. But for the summertime, I love the color. It's cute. I went and picked it out myself. And we're going to see how it goes. No, it wasn't today. It was the other day. I picked it out. And so, I'm just... It's a process. Everything is a process. I'm not going to lose the weight overnight. I got my girl kicking weight with Keisha. She is working a chick. So watching my diet, doing what I got to do. And I know I'm not going to be skinny. It's to get healthy. It's to tone up. And it's to look, like my best for what I want for myself. So it's goals. And it's just... But anyway, we are bruised and not broken. I just want you, to start, to see, to map things out, and let that be that. But yeah, these journeys that I'm taking by myself, when I tell you, but they are teaching me, and I'm learning, and it means a lot. I get lonely sometimes, don't get me wrong. I get lonely, but I be like, Lord, I'd rather be lonely than aggravated. I don't want to deal with a whole lot of drama. And it's like I'm aging backwards. My skin, I'm trying to get my skin right. I'm trying to age backwards. I don't want to be stressed out and aggravated about every little thing. No, I'm just the rest. Take it easy. Let God do what he do. I'm going to do what I do. And I'm going to rest in him, And every season is not a season of battle and fighting and wars and dysfunction. Some seasons is supposed to be for you to do exact rest and be grateful and thankful in the Lord. So that's what I'm doing. But we are bruised and not broken. And with my because I've been detoxing, my skin been going crazy because of that too. So don't mind me. But between the detoxing, because you tend to, when it's coming out. But yeah. But anyway, bruised and not broken. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. This is the proof is in the pudding. This is the legends. This is all the receipts. People talk about we want to see progress. They want to see something. They want to see what you're doing, what you got going on. They want the proof. Because if you ain't got no proof, it's like, honey, and it doesn't come overnight. So God is showing them the proof, baby. He got all the receipts of what he did, what he didn't do, how he did it, when he did it, and whom he did it to. Won't he do it? So hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus, for that. Praise him, praise him, praise him. And like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to let this one go. I'm trying to get this going because on the weekends, I want to really be, like I said, enjoying my time with the Lord and doing things myself. These videos, I have to look up information, I have to do different things, so it's a beautiful thing. I love to come and I have to, it's for my own life, but I like sharing because I want you guys to see and hear, know what's going on in the word and be able to, and we're always keeping our hopes up and we're always doing these other things. So like I said, I'm gonna let this one go. Trying to get ahead in my mind. It is summertime, and I do plan on enjoying, certain parts of the summer. So like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want, you could be a blessing to me. It would be a blessing. If not, that's fine. It's not something I require. Like I said, God is always my provider. He is always making a way for me out of no way. There is no gatekeepers door. Honey, God will create whole new doors and tables for me. So I ain't even worried about it. He will part the whole Red Sea for a check, So I'm good. So, bruised and not broken. Be blessed in Jesus' name. And until the next one, this is what, April 21st? Yeah. All right. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Later, people.